all of the other celebrities that have played themselves. One is Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian played herself in a lot of different TV shows and movies. Tyler Perry, Lily's godfather, gave Kim one of her first shots at a scripted piece where I believe she played a secretary or something in a Tyler Perry movie. So again, I've said it 1,000 times. I think Meghan is trying to work with the Kardashians. I think she wants to work with the Kardashians. I feel like she's following in the Kardashians' footsteps.
So let's just start with the obvious. Everyone in this clip is basically saying the same thing. Harry is lost. Like, totally, hopelessly, floating in the middle of the ocean without a compass, lost. And honestly, whether you love him or can't stand him, you can't deny that the guy has been on a multi-year streak of weird decisions, questionable PR timing. And who approved his public appearances? And this latest one, the Canadian veterans visit, fits right into that pattern. The commentators start by pointing out something that become almost a running joke.
And hello to the Express and the Daily Mail, who did not print my opinion piece about this years ago, that Meghan would be trying to get in with the Kardashians. Hello. I just want to remind you that I said it first. So we spot them at Kris Jenner's birthday party over the weekend. Harry wearing his poppy, Meghan claiming poppies aren't that accessible here in the United States, to which I would say, like Amazon, $8.99 can be at your house in 24 hours. The Kardashians are famous because of a sex tape. We've talked about the fanny panties. The fact that Harry and Meghan have escaped a life working under Prince William, who's trying to save the planet, and King Charles, who has dedicated most of his life to trying to save the planet and peace all over the world. All of a sudden Trump's changed his tune on Ukraine after one afternoon with Charles. I can't believe they gave up that life to chase after the Kardashians. It's thoroughly disappointing to me.
It's tacky. It's as simple as that. The Kardashians, look, you can't fault what they did. They tapped into some zeitgeist and took sort of reality TV. Were they the first real breakout TV stars? I may be wrong, but it feels like they were.
Yeah. And around the same time as the Osbournes. Yeah.
Yeah. And, they were the two vying. Osbournes, obviously another Aston Villa man, played his last concert at Villa Park 2 weeks before he died. It's a really sad, and it was like, that was a big moment. And it was almost like, for Ozzy.
Maybe he knew.
Sometimes, we're going off piste here, but, it was almost like I've had this moment playing in front of my faithful back in Birmingham. And then 2 weeks later, one of the great rock icons very peacefully just slips away. Heartbreaking for the family. I think Jack's about to appear in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, UK version. Coming up over Christmas when they all go out to Australia. But so the Kardashians have always been a freak show, as far as I'm concerned, tapping into a sort of zeitgeist, and you can't fault them.
No.
But they are a reality TV.
I worked with them. Like I know I'm critical of them, but I worked with them. I did a show with them. I threw a party for them in Cabo San Lucas. So when people see me criticize them, I'm criticizing them because I've worked with them, and it was a nightmare. But it was fun.
Tell me more.
I threw a party for them in Cabo San Lucas, and I would show up.
Why?
Because the show was about throwing parties, and I wanted to do the show because I wanted to be an entertainment reporter for E, and that's where the show was. The show was on E. Yeah. So, and E had me come back for several years to do specials about celebrities with them. So they were very obnoxious. They knew exactly what they were doing. I'd show up to have a meeting with them about important details, and Chloe would pick Courtney up and toss her in the pool. I mean, you're right. It's chaos. This family's chaos. I've worked with them. I've done TV with them, but having had that experience with them and having an experience with the royal family, I'd say I would choose the royal family over the Kardashians any day, not just because of morals and values, but because The Kardashians stand for nothing but themselves, and the royal family stands on helping out people, the
Yeah.
people around them. They stand for something so much more and so much deeper. And so to see Harry and Meghan chasing after them and after abandoning the queen and what she stood for. Also, can I just make the point that the Kardashians have been selling secrets about their own family to the media for years. If you look at TMZ over the last 48 hours, it's Kris Jenner's birthday, Kylie Jenner's cat, and Kim Kardashian's failed bar exam. That family has the media on speed dial.
Whenever Prince William is doing something genuinely important, Harry magically appears in another country doing something that looks suspiciously like a royal engagement. It's like watching a sibling who refuses to stop copying your homework, even after your mother has explicitly said, "No more copying." They even remind us that Queen Elizabeth shut this whole thing down years ago. Remember the half-in, half-out era? When Harry and Meghan thought they could keep the prestige of the monarchy while freelancing as Hollywood influencers.
They are not trustworthy. And it's interesting to me how Harry finds no fault in their cooperative relationship with the media. But when he claims his family does the same thing, or the firm, it's suddenly unforgivable.
Well, look, I mean, I would have thought Meghan, she's got the media on speed dial, hasn't she? Or People Magazine or one or two of the others. Absolutely. Here we go. Suddenly flashbulbs popping when they turn up to this, you know, party. You know, where's the class in turning up to someone's 70th birthday, which is fine. I'm heading there. I will in a few years' time. And where's the class? And it's basically PR people saying, come along to this party. Bit like the Meghan and Harry wedding, because there were people turning up there, celebrities turning up to that, who didn't really know Meghan and Harry, but
And
she
like, no,
wanted
did
to.
not know. Did
Yeah,
not know. I mean,
yeah.
George Clooney said, I have never met Meghan Markle.
So, okay, he would have met members of the royal family. There's no two ways about it. And, and his wife, an important, figure in her own right. So that just proves that she wanted celebrity stardust to make her look like she was a celebrity big shot on
Mm-hmm.
her big day. And going to something which basically is a bit of an entertainment freak show. Correct? Their
Yeah.
70th birthday, wouldn't it be? In
Yeah.
America, you've just summed it up. It's all a bit mad. And you sort of have to sort of see what the heck's going on here. And then they want to turn up to that. Harry, in a million years, probably thought a few years ago, do I want to turn up to celebrity TV family's 70th birthday party of Kris Jenner? I mean, give me a break.
I don't know if I believed it at the time, but there was, when I was in London for the king's coronation, there were stories circulating that Kim Kardashian had tried to get an invite to that event. And I don't know if I still don't know if I believe it, but it's a little it's funny to me that Diana rejected Oprah Winfrey and chose to do Panorama instead of Oprah, but Oprah's
Well,
big
they talk
get.
about
I know,
panorama.
I know,
Oh,
I know.
hey,
But
hey, hey.
Oprah's big get was
Yeah.
Harry, as you know, that was her consolation prize, which means she'll never get William. But if Kim Kardashian was really rejected from the coronation of King Charles, then again the
No, I don't think
the
she would have got
leftovers
anywhere.
are Harry and
She
Meghan.
wouldn't even, she wouldn't have even got anywhere near the acceptance because there were a lot of people who couldn't go, and because when the Queen got crowned, they crammed I don't know how many people in, but that was the days before health and safety.
Mm-hmm.
And health and safety then appeared in 2000 and what was it? 20, help me out here, 22. Anyway, whenever the coronation was,
Well, also there was that
they,
tug of war between the crown and the government because King Charles
yeah,
was aware of the heater eat drama. He was aware of what was going on financially for everyone, and he was afraid of putting on a big show, and the government was desperate for him to put on a big show because they thought the attention on the country would be more valuable than King Charles trying to be humble in this moment.
If you look at the scale of the military operation back then, we had national service in the Queen's coronation, so they had a ready-made army just ready to appear and service personnel. Actually, one of the problems was for the coronation, we have a much reduced armed forces is actually and one of the reasons we somehow had to manage the personnel. I remember talking to someone who was doing the military planning, and he was saying, the street lining, they really opened up the gap. Whereas if you look at the coronation in 52 or 53, whenever it was, they're practically standing like that. Whereas, because we are a much reduced, so therefore it was, and the king didn't want to necessarily put the service overstretch them. It was fantastic. But for Kim Kardashian, she wouldn't even been given, it might have been she wanted, but there would have been a no against her name before anything else, because they didn't want it to be, and the king would not want it to be, because it's a religious ceremony. It's not sacred. A celebrity fest. It's sacred. It's a moment in time. It's something special passed down through history. The symbolism of the occasion. It's not a celebrity freak show. Now, her wedding, Meghan's wedding, that is, she wanted to turn it into a reality TV show.
Yes, Reese Witherspoon turned her down and said, "I don't know you. I don't know why I would come to your wedding." She said that publicly. She said, I was invited, but I didn't go because I don't know them.
Well, that makes perfect sense. Why should you go? This is the problem. So therefore, it appears now that, Meghan will turn up for an opening of a bar of soap. I mean, anything. She just will turn up. Because she's 1 minute we're seeing in a local bookstore hijacking someone's date, and that's a big occasion. It is so desperate.
Did you see the story about how that store, Godmother's, is now carrying As Ever products, and they had wine? So they had some of Meghan's wine in there, and people are reporting Godmother's for not having a liquor license and selling Meghan's wine.
The Queen famously told them, absolutely not. This whole conversation is essentially one long argument that Harry and Meghan have become. Strategically confused, socially inconsistent, and intellectually blind to how they look. And the comparisons to William's steady, dignified, state-level work only make the contrast sharper. Harry seemed to be trying desperately to reclaim the aura of a royal while simultaneously burning the bridges required to act like one.
Well, I hadn't heard that, but that's why you're in California with the finger on the cutting edge of the news agenda. If she hasn't got a license, then the book, I'm afraid they've messed up, and it's not right, because American liquor laws are quite complicated, if I'm not mistaken.
They are, yeah. I have one last question for you. As an Aston Villa fan, as somebody that is committed to a team, you're incredibly loyal, you're incredibly passionate. Did you watch Prince Harry's apology about wearing the Dodgers cap in Canada, and did you buy it? And does his ability to, just go, "Oh, I'll never do it again," just that disloyalty in general kind of reflect on his personality entirely?
Well, big deal. He's wearing a baseball cap. You're at the game. You put on a cap. I mean, I wouldn't, in my office.
Oh, really? You didn't think that was poor optics, considering the fact that he was about to be in Canada the next few weeks?
Well, look, it was
William would have never done it. William would have.
Well, look, I mean, wearing a baseball cap is something I'm not particularly good at. I mean, I've got a row of them just up there. If you wanted me to get a few, and I'll try them on.
But you look nice in a top hat. I've seen
that. I haven't got that around, but that's upstairs. But look, I think actually the optics of that going to the World Series stuff was actually. How did he get a front row seat, and why?
He says that the owner gave it to him, and that's why he wore an LA Dodgers cap. That's what he said
Oh,
in his apology. He said he was under duress, that the owner had given him. Well, he says here, I'll give you the exact quote. Firstly, I would like to apologize to Canada for wearing it. Secondly, I was under duress. There wasn't much choice. I was invited to the LA Dodgers box by the dugout by the owner himself. So I was doing what I thought was the polite thing to do. But I'm going to wear this Blue Jays hat from now on to make sure I don't make any more of those
oh,
mistakes. And people were also annoyed because there are so many pictures of Meghan Markle in a Blue Jays cap from when she lived in Canada. So it did feel like they were,
oh.
there are no principles here. There's no loyalty. You go where the opportunity is, which is just classic Harry and Meghan.
I am I'm an Aston Villa fan, right? As you know, I would not go if I'm going to Manchester United and suddenly the big cheese of Manchester United invites me. I will not ever wear anything other than my team's hat. Or, I don't wear football shirts and memorabilia, so it's not something I own. But I can assure you, me putting on a Manchester United hat is not on my bucket list. It's not happening. And if I was in America, I would put on I've been to the Boston Celtics, I've been to the Red Sox, I haven't been to the Patriots, but due to loyalty for my wife, I wouldn't. But I wouldn't suddenly go, and I do actually. The Patriots having a great season as far as I can work out. We're 7-2 or something like that. Anyway, that's the extent. But you know what I mean. I
Yeah.
would not. I would wear the team I support. I'd be making a joke about it and actually saying, "Sorry, mate, can't wear this. I'm a Toronto fan
Mm-hmm.
because of my wife," or something. It just it did look like opportunism, but you're probably overplaying it. But to say you're under duress, give me a break, Harry. You
Right.
know, grow some kahunas. You know, yes, it's lovely you get a great invitation, you get a front row seat, but baseball, do you know what they're doing? Do you
Right.
understand the game? You know, you know. I've actually presented baseball in this country, but back about 20 years ago.
Uh-huh.
So I sort of understand the game, but
Well, he was
yeah.
cheering on the Dodgers too. Like it wasn't like he was throwing his hands up when um it wasn't like he was throwing his hands up when the Blue Jays were winning or when they scored a point.
Well,
Because the Blue Jays did win that game and everybody said that Harry and Meghan jinxed the
well, I don't.
Dodgers.
Look, it is what it is. You can overanalyze it, and of course, it's fodder. But at the end of the day, I would suggest, think of the optics. But actually, this is a small microcosm. But actually, the bigger picture is Harry and Meghan think of the optics and just work out what the heck you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. That's so true. What a nice little way to end
Yeah,
this
well,
episode. So wise.
yeah.
So you're so wise.
Meghan, meanwhile, seems to be following the Hollywood influencer playbook, except she wants a prestige of royalty without the restrictions. The result is a brand that feels like a patchwork of PR stunts, celebrity alliances, and tragic self-awareness gaps. And if the critics are right, Harry is starting to realize it, but way too late. Let me know what you think about this video in the comments section. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.